Grab your keys, because it's time to drive Bryce Huff to the airport. Dallas still stinks. You're by the way, King Dingbat here. So the Eagles are wrapping up day 3 of OTAs for the week. And one thing I'm going to take out of it, and this is going to be a crazy take, you're going to say that I'm probably overreacting and getting too emotional and all that stuff. But I can't help it, because I look at this Eagles defense, and I got to tell you, I think by the end of the year, when we get ready and we go in the playoffs, this will be a better defense than it was last year. That's right. It's going to be a better defense. They're younger, they're faster, they're in year 2 with Vic Fangio, and the responsibility of stars like Q and Cooper Dejean are expanding. They're not shrinking. Now, we're going to get into all of it in a minute, but before we do that, we've got to talk about this, because yesterday one of the things we talked about was Bryce Huff and him not showing up for OTAs. I didn't think it was a shocker not to see Devontae Smith or Lane. That happens. But when you get a guy like Bryce Huff, a guy that struggled, got a lot of money, and if he really wanted to prove himself to the Eagles and really let them know that he isn't giving up, he's locking in, and he's going to make up for last year, you figure he show up to OTAs. Well, it looks like he didn't show up, and there's reason. Eagles news: Bryce Huff is unlikely to be part of the plans for the Eagles in 2025. That was according to Jeff McClain. McClain also said this: Bryce Huff wasn't at Tuesday Pound Eagles OTAs. In fact, the defensive end hasn't been at any volunteer workouts this spring, per NFL source. So, Bryce Huff hasn't even been at voluntary workouts, okay? Usually these guys show up at least a little bit, and it's just unfathomable to me that this guy is going to be an Eagle next year, when you're not showing up for anything after the horrible year you had. He's gone. And look, I'm scared to death to fly on airplanes. I am. It's one of my phobias. I'll fly there if it means I could drive Bryce Huff to the airport out, because gots to go. He's gots to go. And you know what? The Eagles are going to be okay at the defensive end, or the pass rushing spot. That edge rusher is just going to be fine. The outside rushing linebacker, we're going to be fine. I like our ends. I like our linebackers. I think we're young, and we got a ton of talent. We will not miss him. The question about Bryce Huff is going to be this: what are you going to do? How are you going to get rid of him? The real question for Bryce Huff at this point is not whether he's going to be an Eagle or not. It's how are the Eagles going to get rid of him? That's the question, because and I know, if teams know that you're going to cut a guy and you're getting rid of him, they will not give you anything for him. They'll just wait for him to get cut. And that's what the Eagles are dealing with. It would have been nice if he was showing up for voluntary workouts, if he showed up for OTAs. Not even that he thinks he's going to be there, but just to show, hey, look, I'm with the Eagles still. Kind of play it off. I think it would make Howie's job easier if everybody didn't know that you were going to move on from him. But maybe they don't want him to get hurt or whatever. But listen, if the Eagles cut him, it's going to cost them a lot of money, right? It's $19 million in dead money. Now, we've seen Jeffrey Lurie pay a lot more dead money cost than that before. But you're going to take a cap hit of about $12 million. So cutting him post June 1st still costs you a lot. However, if you can trade him, and this would probably mean teams have to pick up some of his money, which is going to be another problem. But if you could trade him post June 1st, it's $3 million in dead money, feasible. And you would save $4.3 million. So you would actually save $4.3 million if you could trade him. How do you trade him? To me, the best situation, and look, if he's not showing up for any of these things, what are the chances he's going to show up at training camp? Or does he think he's going to be gone? Are the Eagles just going to cut him? I mean, it's very interesting. But if they can trade him, I don't know, maybe during training camp, you have him come in, goes out, he plays good. You have your little press conferences every day. Just talk about how great he's doing, Oh, yeah, Bryce Huff today at camp was awesome. I mean, Bryce Huff has really stepped it up. He's turning heads. We are really excited with what we're seeing. He was getting snaps with the ones, and we think he's going to be a big part of this team this year. We don't know where all these rumors are coming from. That's what you need. You need that for about 2-3 weeks, and then you're going to get a team that is going to say, damn it, we just had an injury. We need another pass rusher. What are we going to do? That's when Howie Roseman goes in. He says, you know what? We really like the guys we have behind him. We'll trade them. We'll trade them to you. Just give us a 2097 seventh round pick, and we're good. We're good. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about anything till 2097. Why not? I'm sure the league will have a conniption fit because they hate everything we do. But what I'm saying is basically you got to trade them for nothing. And you got to hope that the Eagles can do that because that's the most realistic way to get out of this thing is a June 1st, post June 1st trade. Cutting him is gonna be tough. And really, I mean, I don't know about restructuring and then trading. That's for Howie Roseman to determine. But Bryce Huff, he's gone. He's gone. He's not coming back, and we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. I mean, Jalix Hunt, he looked good at OTAs. He looked a little bigger. He looked fast. I think he's gonna be good. I think Nolan Smith is gonna be an absolute monster, and I'm actually really excited for this defense. I think this defense, though it's got some changes, though it has some young guys, I think by the end of the year, and I truly mean this, by the end of the year, I think this is going to be a defense that is better than it was a year ago. As hard as that is to believe, this team their defense is very fast, very young, very talented, and then we see things like Q moving over to the other side, and Cooper Dejean getting snaps in different different positions. John McMullen wrote, this early indications are that Quinyon Mitchell will be moving left cornerback this season. That's where Darius Slay played. Adoree Jackson took first team reps at cornerback and nickel. He did to start out with. Rango eventually got some snaps too. And it would be interesting to say that in base defense, Cooper Dejean went outside. So they moved Q, and I think they do that because you want them to be able to play both sides. That they're not going to play man and have him shadow the best guy, but they're going to move him over to that side Slay was because that's usually where your number one receiver is going to be. And then teams that are smart will just move him to the other side, the best receiver to the other side to get him away from him. However, we'll see what Ringo is. I think the Eagles are going to push for Ringo to start. He's got a big job ahead of him, no doubt about it. And then Q, Q's another one. Cooper Dejean's another one. I mean, we got all these great corners. I'm getting confused with names. But then you got Cooper Dejean, right? Jeff Mosher asked this question. He said, Pound Eagles defensive back Cooper Dejean excelled in the slot last year. He's taking some outside reps this spring. Is he a slot or outside corner or both? This has been a debate since he was drafted. This is one of the reasons why I think he fell out of the first round. Okay, and there's an article in Philly Voice. I'll put the link to it so you guys go read the article. But, I just reviewing Cooper Dejean and when he came out. He was drafted in the second round. And the reason I believe he was drafted then was because teams weren't sure if he could be an outside starting corner. Some teams thought he would play inside or safety, and I think it scared some teams off. My feeling is this. I have said this from day one. I believe Cooper Dejean is one of those rare talents that you can use all over. I think he could play outside and be very, very successful. He could play inside. We've seen it. And I think he could play safety. You see him tackle. The guy can tackle. He doesn't miss tackles. He's got some size to him. He's got speed. He can cover. Cooper Dejean, if used properly in the course of his career, to maximize him to the best of his ability, you need to be able to use him like a Swiss Army knife. That's how I see him. And even though he played in the slot, he was really good last year, and I wouldn't mind him primarily playing that this year. I love the idea that they're moving him around, giving him other snaps. He should be the guy that, hey, look, we need somebody to cover this tight end this week. Cooper Dejean. We got to go play Dallas. We want Cooper on CeeDee Lamb when he's in the slot. Boom. Put him on there. Oh, we need help by the outside corner this week. We'll throw him out there. You know what? We need him at safety this week. It's very, very important that he plays safety. Move him safety. Like, use Cooper Dejean, strictly where you need him each week per matchup. Whatever the matchup is, use his ability to your advantage. That's where I think this is going with him. And a lot of people will say, well, how are they going to sign him? He's going to want to play outside corner because when his contract gets paid, comes up, he's going to want to make bigger money. Outside corners make more money than slot corners. That's true. But I think you pay Dejean differently. You pay him as a weapon, and I think that's how the Eagles will look at him. He's going to be a guy that you could move all around and really take advantage of matchups and shut down certain things that teams would do against other guys because you have Cooper Dejean and you also have Q. So I think when you look at those guys with that versatility, and then I think if you could get something like Ringo working out, this defense is scary. I love our linebackers. I love our defensive line. I love what we got going on in the secondary. The only question I have is, did you replace C.J. Gardner-Johnson? But other than that, I think this defense is a number one type defense again this year. And I think that when they get I don't know how much they're going to need to, play before some of these guys start playing a high level. But it worked last year. You played the young guys, and by the end of the year, they were dominating. I think you do that again with your safety. I think you do that again with Ringo. You go through the growing pains early. You play those guys, and by the end of the year, I think they're going to have the best defense in the National Football League again. And this time, the guys aren't going anywhere. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. Boy, I have Mark Holmes really almost losing it almost every day, but really I had him almost losing it this morning. I sent him a picture of this. Somebody posted on Twitter, a Cowboy fan, saying Dak Prescott is on the cover of Madden, and he was like, oh my God, he thought it was over. He was so worried. Even Mark knows what a choke the Madden is for a cover athlete. You don't want it. You don't want an athlete on the cover. I'm not for it. That's why I hope Barkley's not in there. I support Dak being on the cover. A choking, overrated game versus an overrated big game quarterback. It works perfectly. Denzel Washington. Ow. That's all, folks.
The brother screwed us.